Good morning. Good morning. Welcome you to Brookings County Commission meeting, Tuesday, May 27th, 2025. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 3 on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any additions or corrections? Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 4 on the agenda is an invitation for a citizen scheduled time on the commission agenda for an item not listed. There's a 5-minute time limit per person. Anyone wanting to speak during this agenda item must sign in prior to the start of the meeting. No commission action will be taken during this agenda item. Any requested action item may be scheduled for a future meeting. I don't believe we have anybody this morning. So move on to item number 5, which is consent agenda items, which includes minutes, travel and education requests, personnel action notices, cellular authorizations, and a human services report. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments? Any questions? Call the roll, please.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Post.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Hostler.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 6 on the agenda is a routine business, which is approval of the claims. Do I have a motion to approve the claims?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments? Additions, corrections? Hearing none, call the roll.
Post.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Hostler.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next on the agenda is department head reports. We start with, Brian, would you like to start from the highway department?
Morning.
Morning.
Brian.
Well, it's been a little slow at the highway department with the rain. We are getting at a few projects. We did start some work on our County Road 16A or 214th Street. We're doing some work around some culverts. We're going to continue to do some of that, but as Mother Nature allows, of course. But when we do need to face closures and do start working on that, we do have to replace one culvert towards the east end of the project. So when that happens, that road will be closed temporarily, and then we'll be starting to haul gravel on it. I've been in contact with our contractors, and we're in line behind several other projects that they've started, and Mother Nature has now delayed them. So when more work is able to be happening, you guys will be made aware of that, and the public will be made aware of the temporary closures while we do that work. Aside from that, we've wrapped up a few of the projects that we like to do over the winter, like our crack sealing. We've wrapped that up. The trucks are taken down from snow removal operations. I hope that now we can safely do that without having to worry about getting any snow. So as we get going here in the summer, things will start going pretty quick once the weather allows, but until then we're getting things ready, and we'll be ready when the weather allows.
Brian, any idea how long you anticipate 214 being closed with that culvert project?
We're looking at like a day closure. Be open, closed during the day, opened at night. When we're graveling, we intend to keep the roadway open, but there'll be some temporary delays when we do that. But once the chip seal operation would start, we do need to prime seal that. and that'd be a 24-hour minimum closure while that prime cures. It'll be covered with sand, but there again, we don't want anybody tracking up oil on their car, so it's just safest to delay it for a day, and then once they can do the chip seal process, then it'll be open at night.
Okay.
Closed during the day, open at night.
Have you ever done a traffic count on that road? How many people use that daily or weekly?
We have. We've done several last fall, well, ever since the inception of this project. The county does own our own traffic counters. Of course, last year when there was closures in Aurora on Redmond, the traffic counts were skewed because that road was closed. But now that that's opened up and the traffic's flowing, it's anywhere average when school's open, 2 to 3, 400, 500 days you'll see.
Okay.
And speeds are, I've been communicating with sheriff, there's been a lot of speed out there. It's a drag strip right now.
Brian, maybe you could forward those emails with the traffic counts to Commissioner Miller.
That would be
Yeah.
interesting to see.
And we took them intermittently throughout the winter, and of course last year when Redmond was closed, like I said, those results were skewed. But once that was opened up and traffic was able to drive on it, we're looking, 200 to 500 vehicles a day,
Wow, that surprises me.
and lots of speed.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
pretty heavy traffic out there to drive that narrow of a gravel road.
Any other questions?
Brian, remind the group, what is the speed limit on that road?
We formed an ordinance working with the sheriff. It's 45,
Okay,
which
just-
much of the roads surrounding that area are 45 miles an hour on the county.
Just to inform the public that it is a 45, correct?
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
I have one quick question. That bridge project over, was it 471, how's that going along?
I was hoping to have a little more of an update for you guys on both those projects, but the one south of Aurora is currently underwater. And then the project, I visited the site on Thursday last week, and they just got the north pier and everything that's done, so they were able to set the deck, not the deck units, but the girders, the concrete girders are set in place. So they're out of the water on that structure, but it's definitely hinders their operations when it does rain or the wind blows, because there's a lot of crane work.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Brian.
Misty, would you like to go?
Good morning.
Good morning.
May 10th, we had a gopher trapping event with Pete Harper. He's a state trapper. We only had about 8 people attend. Quite a few were my kids. They learned how to trap gophers. We got, a striped gopher we caught, and then we caught a pocket gopher. So Pete demonstrated how to trap the pocket gophers. Works pretty well when you're as good as he is. And we did that up by, on Jimmy Jensen's land on 204th Street, 204th and 459th. Jimmy Jensen was nice enough to allow us to trap gophers up there. And we coordinated with Eric Weir, so thank you to them. Next year, there's talk about going to Dual County to trap gophers and get Dual County involved in that, see if we can get some more kids involved over there too. So I will let you know when it comes closer to what the date will be and keep you guys posted. Any questions on that? No. We have coming up on the 11th, I just received this, June 11th, we have the Good, Bad, and Similar Looking Plant Tour. Down at Palisades State Park, generally, when we've done these since 2017, we've been all north and east. We did go down south one year. So this year, we're going to Palisades State Park. Everybody drives your own vehicle. And then once we get to where we're going, we'll try to pile in as many people as you can get in safely in your vehicle. And that way we don't tear up other landowners' properties. It's really a good thing. I didn't really start doing this until I think it was closer to 2018. You get to see what a native plant, what a good plant, what a noxious weed looks like. You get all stages. And the public is welcome, landowners, anybody's welcome to come. Bring your own lunch. One year they did provide lunch for us, but we were lucky enough to have somebody supply that. Everybody's welcome. So I will be attending on Wednesday, and the Tuesday, the 10th, I'll probably go help scout weeds, depending on the weather. And then just to give you a quick update with the weed department, we are trying to get out there. We can't see the weeds quite yet when we're driving the trucks in the ditches, but I am going to have the guys tomorrow start spraying just the road edge to take care of the weeds and whatnot right on the gravels where the highway has put in new gravel. And then we're going to go back and start on the roads that were shouldered last year, just to keep up on the weeds right on the edge of the road. Any questions?
There you go.
Thank you.
Sonia with 4-H report.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I provided a report ahead of time, a couple things I just wanted to highlight. Over the course of the last few months, we've been educating our youth in preparation for their animal exhibition that will be coming up in the next couple of months for their county and state events. Those that are active in horse or in livestock are required to complete a youth horse literacy and youth livestock literacy activities. So we've offered several of those opportunities throughout the winter months, actually. They can attend any one, local or in the area. So we've had a few within the area for kind of that, our northeast region kind of counties along the border here. As well as having some local. We had one for livestock. We utilized a lesson from the Adopt a Cow program on herd genetics, and so that was kind of, I appreciate that lesson, and it incorporated some hands-on activity for those kids as they think about the animal that they have this year, whether it's something that came from their own herd or they purchased it, but maybe how the markings on that animal came to be and how they may think about continuing those genetics that they have in this current animal with their reproductive decisions should they choose to add to their herd or think about that into the future. When our horse practice got started mid-May out at the holding barn, we did our youth horse literacy event with trailer safety and reviewed different components around a vehicle connected to a trailer and identified some flags that I had posted around that unit for them to take into account things like lug nuts and wheel bearings being packed and tread on tires, lights, licensing, all the safety mechanisms in place, chains connecting the trailer to the vehicle, the doors being securely closed, etc. So had a really good conversation actually with those kids that night. They had an opportunity to look for the Post-its that were on the vehicle. And then we walked around and discussed each one of them. I let them tell me why those things were important, and it's really a good thing that at their age so many of them were aware of what it is they need to be looking at. None of them are pulling those trailers, but they are riders, and sometimes riders, you know, that's a good task for a child to help parents out with when they're getting ready to load up and head down the road. So even in these short trips from home to Brookings for practice. The first week that the two interns were present, I'll introduce them shortly, we participated in the Water Festival on campus. We had 6 classrooms of 4th and or 5th graders that came through our session talking about the water cycle and building terrific terrariums. This week we have special foods workshop tomorrow, a burger battle in Watertown on Thursday, along with a youth livestock literacy event to complement that activity. And we are doing a lot of Facebook posts right now so that our 4-H members don't miss the May 31st deadline, which is a Sunday, so we're encouraging them to get that done by Friday. And June 1 is an animal identification deadline for state fair, state horse show, state dog. Anything you want to have an animal involved in this year needs to be identified by June 1. June 1 is a Sunday, so hopefully they are thinking about their animal entries now and can make those phone calls to our office before the weekend hits. Other things in the report include our Kid Care Babysitting Workshop. Lots of positive response about that, especially as it concerns to the opportunity to become CPR certified. Many would have preferred that they too could have done that, but we only could accommodate 20. So of our 50, 30 were not able to do it. It was a first come, first serve. So we know we'll look to incorporate CPR into future babysitting workshops. Have concluded the Adopt a Cow program in the different sites that I started in this year. Really enjoyed that, learned a lot myself, and look forward to incorporating that again into the future. April was the last month of our Food Fund 4-H, where our youth and families are collecting the recipe content from our office and doing those activities at home as a family. Shooting sports wrapped up the end of April with the state shoot in Pierre. I've identified the highlights, especially top 5 for individual and team, and should you choose, you can sure scan that QR code to see complete results. We did have a handful of 4-H members, I think 6, that qualified for one or more national team would compete the national shoot the last week in June in Grand Island, Nebraska. A number of them declined that opportunity because this was their first year as a senior 4-H member. You're only eligible to compete in the discipline one time at the national shoot. So a couple of them that our first year seniors, just turned 14 sometime before the first of the year, decided they would just wait. They'll hope that they have that opportunity again. But we do have a couple that will be going, one for air pistol, Teed Seaboy, and one in shotgun. And I want to say Alex, but I don't, Alex Storhog. Didn't want to use the wrong name there. So positive and successful year for our kids in 4-H shooting sports, and now we're looking to get our shotgun program underway this summer as well. Before I introduce my interns, are there any questions for me?
Sonia, I had one question. I'd see on their schedule lots of dates for dog practice.
Oh, yeah.
Just curious what that looks like.
Oh, yeah, thanks for asking. So dog practice is held weekly, starting next week. We do use the archery range. There's 4 parts to the dog project: showmanship, obedience, agility, and rally. And Christy Thompson and Bailey Mary are the 2 dog practice leads. It's a lot. It's a lot of kids and a lot of dogs and a lot of attitudes. We've been working with our own dogs, making them, a little more friendly around others. They get, everybody gets so territorial, but they'll work on those different components. The fun ones are, in my opinion, the most fun is the agility, because that's kind of the dog obstacle course. The showmanship and obedience kind of speak for themselves. The obedience is how well that animal behaves to the commands given based on the level of expertise. So as a dog earns a purple, dog and handler earn a purple ribbon, they'll advance in their category, which makes it a little more difficult for the obedience perhaps to be followed. The rules don't change, but you may now include some distance between yourself and the animal. You might lose the leash. So some different levels of difficulty for those handlers with their dog. They'll work on those categories over the course of the next several weeks in preparation for the dog show. Actually, Dave, no, you're not on I was gonna say, actually, the Outdoor Adventure Center meeting and the dog show are the same day. You should stop in, but you're not the commission on that. It's the two next year.
Yeah.
But that's what that looks like. They practice a couple nights, couple hours a week. They just do one night. That first week, I think they're doing the first night kind of get the paperwork that Christy collects, explain the rules, go through, like, this is what practice is going to look like. They do have 2 practices scheduled that first week, and then after that, once a week.
Fascinating. Lots of fun things happening at that facility. That's cool.
Yeah, like I said, agility is the fun one to watch. I appreciate that, but
Thank you for that information.
you're welcome. I would just like to take an opportunity to introduce the 2 interns that are working in our office this summer. I'm not going to give much about them, but I will introduce them up to the microphone. Ella Crawford and Claire Bleeker will be spending the summer. This is the start of their 3rd week. I've offered them an opportunity to just introduce themselves on the microphone, and with that, I thank you for your time this morning. You just pull a chair up if you want, or one at a time.
Hi, I'm Claire Bleeker. I'm from Hall, Iowa. Next fall, I'll be a senior here at SDSU, and I'm studying ag education. I would say one of the things I'm excited for this summer are our day camps that are coming up and achievement days.
Hi, I'm Ella Crawford. I'm from Elkton, South Dakota, and I am going to be a sophomore at Minnesota State University, Mankato, and then I am excited just for all our events to start and get busy.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Sonia, I'd like to say that trailer safety project, that real good event, I think, for a lot of kids, realize and work with their parents on that.
Yeah, I borrowed the PowerPoint from the beef field specialist who's out of Watertown, and think that we'll probably look to do that again next year with all species. I'd already done my livestock literacy with that genetic piece, but yeah, these kids, as they're traveling and they're moving from farm to so many places anymore with trailers, and trailers aren't, that trailer safety and that knowledge doesn't stop with a trailer pulling animals. You're pulling a trailer with your lawnmower, you're pulling your camper, you're pulling your boat. Any of those things are just good life skills for the future, so 4-H promotes that life skill development, and hope that these kids with their livestock trailers, familiarity can apply that to the future, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Well done, Sonia. Thank you.
Okay. Bob with community development.
Good morning.
Good morning, Bob.
Last Tuesday, BCOAC had their Welcome to Summer event, and we had Tommy the Turtle come over from Pierre. Sounds like there was about 320, 330 participants come through there, and we appreciate the Office of Emergency Management in Pierre letting Tommy the Turtle come over. It's amazing that turtle is a good ambassador for emergency management. Apparently, youngsters get on YouTube, and he's all over the place. So it's good to see the younger people getting excited over emergency management. I attended the NACO Western Interstate Region with Commissioner Miller last week. one of the big high points to me at least was Minnesota was added to the WIR as an associate member. The WIR is the 10 core western states, but now Minnesota. And if you look at Minnesota, it's not just St. Paul and Minneapolis. It's a big ag state. So, and Nebraska right now is in probationary status, and once they're done with their 3-year probationary, they'll probably be an associate member also. So, the big takeaway I got from the WIR is renewable energy is not dead. Sometimes people think when an administration comes in and policies change at the federal level, but there is still a lot of discussion on renewable energy, battery storage around the big wind tower projects, and solar. Solar is actually an issue, especially in some of the western states. It's got crops. They're definitely against it because it takes crops out of production. But then there's other states where you can't grow a cactus because it's so dry, and they want all the solar they can get. So that's going to be a interesting subject, I think, when it comes to Brookings County. And of course, we do have that solar project being built over by the landfill owned by the city of Brookings. So that might be a study for National Association of Counties. We got a zoning meeting June 3rd. We had a zoning meeting back in May, earlier this month. We do have a Homeland Security meeting. They apparently are going to release the money. We don't know the date on that yet. That'll be a meeting where me and either the sheriff or the assistant sheriff will end up going over to Mitchell and discuss getting federal funding for some radios they're looking for. Banner's associate, they are still working on our Madera Township project. They initially sent us a quote for some more work, and after some discussion, they are re-evaluating the quote. And as soon as I get that quote, I'll go ahead and send it back out to the committee members so you're fully aware of what's going on. And last but not least, I'd like to thank the community of White. They invited me up yesterday to give a Memorial Day speech, and I did not realize that the city of White had a 2 Gold Star mother. They had the Schultz family had a death in World War II, which made the mother a Gold Star mother, and then in the Korean War also lost another son, so she was a double Gold Star mother, and that just touched me when I learned about that. So, any questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Lori with Finance, do you have?
Good morning.
Good morning.
With the lien collections, Kim has sent out 259 letters so far. We've had a lot of people calling in on those, unaware that they owed anything, so that's been a good move. And then just to let motor vehicle owners know, starting July 1st, there is a new $2 technology fee. It is being imposed by the state, and it will be for every transaction. Now, if you come in with a title transfer and you also have to license that vehicle, that's 2 transactions. Everything in the new system is separated into transactions, so it'll be an extra $4 on a title transfer and a license. If you have 10 vehicles that you come in to renew, it's going to be an extra $20. So just to let everybody know that, and that is for their motor vehicle technology. That's about all I have.
And that money all goes to the state then?
It's all state money, yep.
Okay.
Good.
Anything else?
Thank you, Lori.
Okay, we also with the finance office, we have be it noted items, auditor's account with the treasurer, payroll and additive totals, highway expenditure report, and a register of deeds statement of fees collected. We do have a scheduled agenda item at 9 o'clock. We're pretty close. It is 9 o'clock. Public hearing and action to approve a one-day special event license to GDWB LLC, Lemke's Bar and Grill, for a wedding at Bennett Barn, 47439 214th Street, Aurora, South Dakota, on June 7th, 2025. At this time, I would to open a public hearing. Oh, I'm sorry. Have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. At this time, I would like to open a public hearing. And if there would be any proponents that would like to speak to this item. Is there any proponents that would like to speak to this item? Hearing none, is there any opponents that would like to speak? Any opponents that would like to speak? I would now close the public hearing. And any comments or questions from the commission? Is there any comments or questions from commission? Any input from finance?
Thank you, Chair. Jenna Baker in the Finance Office. As my letter stated, the owners of Lemke's Bar and Grill are applying for a one-day special events license to be used on June 7th of this year at Bennett Barn. They are bartending a wedding. As I've stated, a notice of the public hearing has been published in the newspapers and the $150 fee has been collected. I do apologize. I was thinking one of the owners was going to be present for this, but they've applied for it in the past, and this is their first application that they've applied for this year.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, call a roll, please.
Miller?
Aye.
Hassler?
Aye.
Vanderwall?
Aye.
Post?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, just for the new commissioner's sake, you mentioned their first application. There is a limit on how many one-day applications you can have. Jenna can kind of review.
Yeah, so we changed our ordinance a little bit, but like Commissioner Jensen stated, we do have a limit on how many of these one-day special events license we can give out per business. Each business is allowed 6 one-day special events license per year. And they can use that special events license, I think up to 3 days is what the state allows, but typically it's always been just a one-day event that they need to do. And then we've also included a fee as well. And that's really just to cover the costs for the county because we have to publish those notices in all 4 legal newspapers. And so really that fee is just basically just to pay for that. So. But I do think that those businesses probably pass that along, so, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Moving on to regular business, item 8.
Do you want to?
Whoops, sorry. Dave, I missed you over there. Dave from Sheriff's Office.
Good morning.
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 We, sheriff and a few deputies were out at the OAC last week. They had a very good turnout. I think the sheriff came back with a lot of empty boxes of stuff that he gave out, so pretty happy about that. College is out. County schools have graduated. Nothing out of the ordinary with that from the weekends past. Detention center, numbers are up from the information I gave you this morning from overnight. We're up by 3, so 62 there. Increase in our marshal holds we've seen come up in the last couple weeks here. Other than that, everything's rolling.
Okay. Any questions for Dave? Questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Okay, now we move on to item 8, regular business. Item A is action to approve resolution number 25-27 a resolution establishing an administrative fee to be collected by Brookings County for the implementation of a tax increment finance district. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second. We'll entertain any comments or recommendations? I think we briefly went over this before. This is basically be a $3,000 one-time application fee. We didn't want to make it too complicated or too simple, but this is what we come up with. So, any other input from the commission?
You know, again, I think this is, of course, probably a good thing. It's not something that we're wanting to make money on, of course, but just for administrative purposes. So I think this will help offset some of that.
No other comments? We call the roll, please.
Hostler.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Post.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item B, action approve a resolution number 25-28, a resolution adopting the Brookings County Pre-Disaster Mitigation Plan 2024-2030. Do I have motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have motion and a second. Any comments?
We've been doing pre-disaster mitigation plans since our very first one in 2003. They're required to be updated every 5 years. This particular plan, we are working in conjunction with First Planning District, and the last one ends in 2024, so it's time to renew it, and it's in progress right now. I've seen the draft form of it, and we're ready to move with it.
Okay. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, call roll, please.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Post.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Hostler.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item C, action approve resolution number 25-29, a plat of lots 28 and 32 of Turtle Bay Addition located in the south half of Government Lot 1 in the northeast quarter of Section 29, Township 109 North, Range 50 West of the 5th Prime Meridian, and in the portion of the northeast quarter of the southeast quarter of the southeast, just a minute, quarter of Section 29, Township 109 North, Range 50 West of the 5th Prime Meridian, and a portion of the Government Lot 2 in the southwest quarter of Section 28, Township 109 North, Range 50 West of the 5th Prime Meridian, all in Brookings County, South Dakota. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments?
This was heard by the Brookings County Planning Commission on May 6, 2025, passed unanimously and sent to this board with a recommendation that you approve it.
Okay, any questions for Bob? Hearing none, call a roll.
Post.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Hostler.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item D, action approve resolution number 25-30, a plat of lots 18A and 20A, Kleinenfelter's addition on Lake Campbell in Government Lots 6 and 7 of Section 28, Township 109 North, Range 50 West of 5th Prime Meridian, Brookings County, South Dakota. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Comments?
This was also heard May 6, 2025, by the Planning Commission, sent to this, approved unanimously and sent to this board with a recommendation you approve it.
Okay, any comments? Hearing none, call a roll.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Post.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Hostler.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Item E, action approve agreement number 25-47, a memorandum of understanding between Dakota State University and Brookings County regarding participation by the county in the Secure South Dakota program. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments? Sean?
This is an agreement between Brookings County and Dakota State University. In 2024, the state approved an amount of money for cybersecurity grants that was given to, I believe, the Attorney General's office, who then worked with DSU for them to administer the project. In order to qualify for those funds, there are a number of things we need to do. This memorandum of understanding is part of that. This is not a matching funds grant. This is something where DSU pays for the pays for the projects directly. So this is not something that will impact the IT budget or the county budget. It's going to simply be if we opt for a project and it is approved through them, they will pay the bill.
Okay. It was kind of like a double check on our system is what
It's for implementation of additional technologies if we want it. It's mostly to encourage being better.
Yep.
For the most part, I'm looking at it as a long-term, I'm trying to find projects that we pay for once and don't need to pay for annually after that. This is a one-time, as of right now, it's a one-time grant. So if we were to implement something that would need to be renewed annually, the future cost would fall on us. I'm trying to avoid projects like that.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I guess looking through this last night, that was one of my concerns, that you take on something that, yeah, the state pays for it this year, that's great, and then continuing on and on, then we're stuck with a bill of something that we really maybe already had covered or not. So that was my question to you too, and you already covered that, so.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid those, any annual increases wherever I can.
Okay. Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item F, action approve agreement number 25-48, a State of South Dakota Joint Powers Maintenance, Encroachment, and Financial Agreement between the Department of Transportation and Brookings County, South Dakota, and replacing agreement number 21-118. I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments?
You go ahead. You want?
Okay, so this agreement's for the safety funds that were brought forth by the state back in 2021. We did approve that agreement at the county level for 220th, which would be the county line, and 464th, which would be 5 south of Volga. The agreement was approved at the county level. It was returned to the state, and it was never signed. If I am, correct me if I'm wrong, Jenna.
Nope, that's correct.
Okay. And so this would be to update that agreement as work now is being conducted out there by HDR. And we're looking at our share of this project would be 20%, which would roughly be about just shy of $30,000, and we're looking at that expense to occur in 2028. But right now they're doing the design, so they would like the updated agreement because it was never signed at the state level with the changeover and that.
Okay. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item G is action to approve agreement number 25-49, an application and occupancy of the right-of-way of county highways made by Sioux Valley Energy in Madera Township. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion second. Any comments?
Sioux Valley approached me with this. I had a few questions on it. This will be on the Clubhouse Road, or County Road 19, from the substation on County Road 12 or 216th or the Sinai Road, approximately 3 miles south. The first mile will be on the west side of the road, and as they move farther south, it'll revert to the east side of the road, and it'll all be overhead along County Road 19.
Okay. Any questions for Brian? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item H, action to approve a retail on-off sale malt beverage and South Dakota farm wine license for Beach Bums Incorporated, DBA Danceland Campground for July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any comments?
Thank you, Chair. Jenna Baker again in the Finance Office. No real comments other than Danceland Campground is applying to renew their license again for another year. The payment of $300 has been collected. The property taxes have been paid for the business, and there haven't been any alcohol violations that have happened in the last year. So I'm not sure if the Sheriff's Office has any other comments, but as far as the Finance Office goes, they've done everything that they need to.
Okay. No other comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item I, action approved CDBG payment request number 4 in the amount of $385,166.42 for the Brookings Behavioral Health and Wellness Construction Project. Do I have motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any comments?
This is going to be the fourth and final payment from this CDBG grant from the state for Brookings Behavioral Health construction project. When the county has been acting kind of just as the conduit for these funds, they kind of come in, we auto-sup them and give them right back out to Brookings Behavioral Health. This last one does include another $5,000 charge for First District. They'll get $5,000 of that remaining dollar amount just for the remaining cost of their administration fees for grant administration. So you'll be seeing this once we get this submitted and the check comes in, then you'll see another automatic supplement on the agenda, and then we'll get these paid out. So it's kind of acting as the pass-through entity for these funds, but this should be the end of it then.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item J, action approve a $500 request by the Elkton Special Days Committee for their annual 4th of July fireworks display. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments?
Elkton sends us this request annually. We've been doing this for a number of years now at that same dollar amount, that $500 amount. So this is budgeted within our public relations line in the commission budget.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
What happens if we don't get the burn ban off by then?
They usually approach the fire department and work with them, and also the sheriff's office. So I guess we address that as time approaches. So any other questions? Call the roll, please.
Post.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Hassler.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item K is action approved closing County Road 23, Broadway Street in Aurora for Gala Days events on August 2nd at 6 a.m. to August 3rd at 4 a.m. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments?
This also is an annual request from the Aurora Gala Days Committee asking for permission to close that stretch of County Road 23 there through Aurora for kind of the times mentioned. They do have an established detour route that they've used over the years, and they keep in contact with the businesses there. Like I said, this is an annual request now from them.
Okay. Any further questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried. Item L, action to automatically supplement for unanticipated expense incurred and reimbursement made to the Brookings County in the amount of $9,305 for work comp reimbursement, receipt number 007-299992 to all departments. Do I have motion to approve?
Second.
Have motion second. Comments?
So we pay our work comp insurance kind of right away at the beginning of the year, and then they do an audit, and this time we got about a $9,300 refund from them. So then what I do is kind of take that and how I've dispersed the cost by department. Originally, I kind of take those same percentages, and so we're going to take this automatic supplement and supplement back into each of the budgets, their work comp lines.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried. Item M is action to declare a guardian property at Evidence Packing System as surplus property to be sold. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Comments? Dave?
This piece of equipment bought back in 2021, prior to the new detention facility being opened. Bart Sweeby and I, jail administrator at the time, went through to a bunch of different agencies and found equipment to streamline everything and make our jobs a lot easier. This was one of those pieces of equipment. As we got to using it in the new jail, we found out that it was very expensive to operate, and there were other means of doing exactly what we were doing with this piece of equipment. So we did take it out of our workflow, and just so happened that the jail sergeant was at a conference and got talking to Minnehaha County Juvenile Detention Facility Director, and of pieces of equipment that people had that were surplus or able to be surplused, and had mentioned this piece, and Jamie had mentioned that we would be very interested in that. Email correspondence came about, and I brought it up with Sheriff Stanwyck, and we came up with this form for surplus, and we have a buyer.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
Selling at what price? What do we pay for it? What are we selling it for?
In 2021, the bare piece of equipment was $8,995. According to the website for CPI Guardian, the same piece of equipment, not including the supplies that it would take, they give you about a case of everything with the piece of equipment, roughly about $600 worth of supplies to go with it. They're right up around $10,250 now, brand new. They have had some computer upgrades to those, which this does not have on it there. I think we were looking about half, $35,000 to $4,000, right around there for JDC.
Okay.
Do we need to state the price in the surplus or no?
I don't think so.
I don't think
no.
so. Okay. Any other questions or comments? All in favor of surplusing signify by saying aye.
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 Pose same sign. Motion carried. Item N, action to approve a request to fill vacancy for a deputy sheriff. Do I have motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried. Item O is action to approve a request to fill vacancy for full-time male correctional officer. Do I have a motion to approve?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any comments? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 9 is the Commission Department Directors Report.
Have the Veterans Service Officer numbers, rides, 1 DAV, 1 the VTS is Veterans Transport, the state system, and then 1 beta ride in, this must have been probably already back to April because we're here in May. So outreach events in April were 4, and I do believe that we have the report too showing claims and then money that has been awarded to veterans here in Brookings County at just about $113,000, which is great to see. The general fund surplus for April was at 45%, and that's just above the 10-year average of 42%. So we can just continue to kind of watch that throughout the year and really don't have to do anything with that kind of and worry about that until year end. You should have received a letter from SDACC, the South Dakota Association of County Commissioners, past president Gary Drews. He sent out a letter regarding a new initiative through the association to support and strengthen counties. This new group is called Counties Leading Efficient and Accountable Reform, or CLEAR. I need to know if you're interested in being a part of that. I think they're having different, you can kind of see different areas down here, kind of key focus areas. I think they're looking for people to be kind of a part of that group. If you're interested, just visit with me maybe after the meeting and we can have some additional discussion on what that would look like. And I can certainly reach out to the association on your behalf, or you can do it too. We did receive a letter from Legislative Audit saying that they've hired Wollenberg, Ritzman and Company to do the audit for the Housing and Redevelopment Commission, just kind of an FYI. We also did get a save the date for the 17th annual golf outing. CDI sponsors that out at the Country Club, August 7th, Thursday. So kind of keep that in mind if you are interested in doing that. Otherwise, we have just some upcoming dates. There is a retirement party for Circuit Judge Stoltenberg. It's at 3 o'clock over in Courtroom A. That's the big courtroom up on the 3rd floor. That would be next Friday, June 6th. We did change budget hearings to June 19th, so that date has changed, but still 8 to 5 and still next door here in the community room. 4th of July is a Friday this year. Offices will be closed in honor of that holiday. And then we come back from the 4th of July and we have our safety week here. Mostly kind of takes into account this building, running some drills and whatnot, but you can be aware of that. And then the picnic is the 10th out at the OAC, kind of sessions at 11, noon, and 1 to eat. And then the speaker this year is going to be, again, something kind of like IT Administrator Sean Plowman had been talking about. We're having someone come to talk about cybersecurity issues. A little bit different topic for Safety Week, but we thought that was pretty pertinent these days. And looking out a little bit further ahead, Sonia had her nice calendar there. Achievement Days, July 28th through July 31st. That picnic or the feed is usually that Thursday, the 31st, and they do have commissioners help with that. Serve, clear tables, do a variety of things, so maybe put that on, that kind of pencil that in on your calendar so you're aware of that, and then more information will come out to you and as it gets a little bit closer, but I wanted to make sure that you were aware of that date, so the 31st of July. And then just so you have it on your calendar, it's a little ways out yet, the Conservation District Tour, August 21st from 8 to about 1 o'clock. So more information to come, but wanted you to have that on your calendar. That's all I have, unless you have questions for me.
Nope. Thank you. Item number 10, State's Attorney's Office Report.
Austin Oxner, filling in for Dan Nelson with the State's Attorney's Office today, and nothing to report.
Okay, thank you. Move on to item number 11, Commissioner reports or discussion. Kelly, Commissioner Vanderwall.
Thank you. On Friday, May 9, I met with you as commissioners to enact the burn ban. And just discussion-wise, we're talking about taking that off here in a couple weeks, maybe not next week, but the following week. You know, that decision's made jointly with the Emergency Management and the direction of the County Fire Chiefs Association. So thankful for the rain, though. Monday, May 12th, I have had a meeting with another commissioner and a department head. And then on Friday, May 16, I had another meeting with a commissioner. And then on Thursday, May 22, I attended the quarterly 911 meeting here in this building. And that's my report. Thank you.
Yeah, Commissioner Post.
Thank you. On May 6th, I attended the Planning and Zoning meeting here. On the 9th, I also was here for the burn ban meeting that we had. Let's see, on the 17th, I attended the County Republican meeting at the Outdoor Adventure Center, and that completes my report.
Yeah, Commissioner Miller.
Thank you. On the 9th, I was here for the burn ban meeting also. And on the 14th, I attended the groundbreaking for Marketplace out there. That was a well-attended event. Interesting. On the 19th, I was attended a board meeting for the behavioral health. I'm very much enjoying being on that board. It's been real eye-opening to see the things that they're doing over there and the facility, and they wanted to make sure that I passed on the support, how much they appreciate the support from the county on their new building and what's happening there. And then last week, I spent 3 days out in Rapid at the Western Region NACO Conference. And that was a very interesting, first time I'd attended one of those events, and very interesting.
Thank you. Commissioner Osler.
Yeah, so on the 9th, I also attended that commission meeting for the burn ban. Then on the 13th, I had a meeting out to Research Park with Dwayne and a couple of the newer board members. On the 14th, we had a joint powers meeting here at the county building, and then also attended the Marketplace groundbreaking. And then on the 17th, that Saturday, I attended the Brookings County Republican meeting. And then on the 21st, we had a BEDC board meeting, which I attended via Zoom. Gave some updates about the possible merger and that kind of stuff going on with that. And then just this last Sunday, of course, I attended the Brookings High School graduation. Just want to congratulate all of our local graduates on their new and upcoming endeavors after high school. And that is my report.
Sean, with that merger, I do see now that there will be a representative from the county commission, correct?
Yes, there is going to be a representative from the county commission. Of course, that is decided and appointed. But I did send in an application for that to serve on that to the vice chairs. So to continue, dependent on, well, it'd probably be, the local boards for each of those 4 organizations will vote to merge and make that decision. So, there's always that possibility that you never know what could happen. But yes, I have applied, sent my, I suppose you could say, letter of intent to serve on that.
Okay, thank you. On the 9th, I also attended the burn ban commission meeting. On the 19th, we had a BCOAC advisory board meeting. It was a good meeting. We did have some activities going on out there, and I'd like to say a thank you to our director out there. Unfortunately, this year the trout extravaganza had to be canceled because of lack of volunteers, but our directors volunteered to kind of take that over and ramrod it. He has experience doing that down in Sioux Falls, so I applaud him for that, and hopefully next year we can get it back on track for the kids. On the 21st, met with a couple supervisors from Madera Township on a road project, and later in that day, I did talk with South Dakota LTAP about that road project. Also on the 22nd, we had a E911 meeting. So that concludes my report. Moving on to item number 12, executive session in accordance with South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-2, parentheses 1, parentheses 4, and 6, personnel, contract negotiations, and security. Do I have a motion to enter an executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Okay, so we are out.
Declare us out of executive session. Item number 13 is an action approve outside employment request number 25-04. Do I have a motion approved?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Pose same sign. We are adjourned.